Well, you're here because you filled out a survey about a guy and he scored a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you, things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10 dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10 dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He's not the type to talk big. Actually, he probably doesn't talk much about himself at all. Even though he's smart and works steadily, he quietly avoids challenges that require putting himself out there or standing up for what he wants. If you're hoping for a partner who's highly ambitious and going places fast, he's probably not it.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he tends to quietly pull back rather than stand tall and face the problem. He doesn't blow up or have loud reactions, but instead he may shut down or withdraw into himself, making it hard for you to know what he's truly feeling. He won't fight with anyone or make a scene, but he's more likely to avoid the trouble altogether.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work probably see him as quiet and keep mostly neutral feelings about him. He's not the type to get into fights or raise his voice. He usually keeps to himself and avoids drama. Most people will just let him be, with few close connections and not much conflict either.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do well in your career, he will most likely keep his feelings to himself. He's not the type to show big pride, nor is he likely to get jealous or insecure. He just isn't very expressive about emotions, good or bad. He won't cheer you on with excitement, but he probably won't try to pull you down either.
What if you start earning more than him?
He's not someone who gets easily jealous or upset if you earn more than him. Most likely, he will keep his feelings inside and act as if it doesn't bother him. However, don't expect him to celebrate your achievement or talk about it much either.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He isn't someone who spends wildly or throws money around without a care. At the same time, he may not be super organized with money or plan out every rupee. You might find his money habits plain and a bit unplanned, neither wasteful nor strict.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He is not someone who tries to show off or act richer than he is. He keeps things simple and doesn't put on a big display for others. You won't find him pretending or stretching himself just to fit in.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He isn't open handed or warm. and he doesn't naturally go out of his way to help others or show kindness. At the same time, he isn't harsh or rude about money. He simply keeps to himself and does what is needed, nothing extra. Mostly, he's just neutral. He handles things in a basic, quiet way, not giving too much or too little.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He's not very talkative about money matters, but he isn't secretive or controlling. He just quietly handles his own business and doesn't make a big deal out of discussions about spending or saving. It's more that he keeps things simple and doesn't fuss about money.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He likely won't say outright that housework is only your job, but he also may not step up and help on his own. He tends to keep to himself and not get very involved, especially in tasks that don't personally affect him. You might notice he lets chores pile up or waits for someone else to handle them.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He is not the type to jump in and actively help with chores or baby care without being asked. You might find that he stands back and only does something if you clearly ask him, and even then, he'll probably do just the bare minimum. He's unlikely to criticize or supervise you, but at the same time, he won't take much responsibility on his own.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He isn't the type to argue just to prove he's right, but he also doesn't put in much effort to really understand your side. Most of the time, he stays quiet and keeps to himself rather than starting a debate or standing his ground. It can feel a bit lonely because he doesn't openly show care or try to see things from your point of view.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he isn't the type to shout, say hurtful things, or act aggressive. Instead, he usually keeps his feelings inside and becomes quiet or distant. You may notice that he withdraws and avoids talking rather than lashing out or starting a fight.
Does he have a bad temper?
He isn't someone who loses his temper quickly. You won't see sudden outbursts, yelling, or sharp reactions from him in everyday situations. In fact, he keeps his emotions buried and prefers to walk away rather than get into a heated argument.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He doesn't usually blame you or pick fights, but he also finds it hard to say sorry or take real responsibility when something goes wrong. Instead of owning up or discussing the issue, he's more likely to stay silent and avoid the topic altogether. You might end up feeling frustrated because problems just get swept under the rug instead of sorted out.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
Yes, he is likely to respect your boundaries. He isn't pushy or forceful, and if you say no to something, he will usually step back without arguing or making you feel guilty. You might find him distant at times, but he won't cross lines you set.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
No, he's not the type to take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He doesn't usually react with hurt feelings, anger, or sulking if you say no. Instead, he quietly accepts your answer and may even pull back further, keeping to himself. While he won't pressure you or make you feel bad, he also might not ask if you're okay or check in about how you feel.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can trust him to handle private moments with care. He isn't the type to gossip, tease, or use personal things against you. In fact, he keeps most things to himself and values privacy. So your secrets and shared moments are safe with him.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He is not someone who chases after attention or gets easily distracted by other women. He keeps to himself and doesn't put effort into flirting or building new relationships outside of his own. You are unlikely to face problems with faithfulness or worry about him being untrustworthy in this area.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he is not overpossessive, jealous, or controlling. He keeps his feelings to himself and doesn't interfere much in what you do. If anything, he may seem distant instead of possessive, giving you freedom in your own space.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his protective nature does not come from being controlling. In fact, he isn't the type to watch over you closely or make strict rules for your life. You may find him a bit distant, but you won't feel smothered or bossed around.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He's more likely to expect you to do most of the parenting work, often without saying anything directly. He usually keeps to himself and waits for instructions rather than taking the lead or sharing tasks naturally. You may feel like the main driver for everything related to the kids, from routines to schoolwork.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he will stay calm and not lose his temper. He does not react with shouting or anger. Instead, he tends to go quiet or step back from the situation. You won't see him making harsh remarks or punishing the kids harshly.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He's unlikely to stand in your way, but he also won't actively support or cheer you on in your role as a mother or as your own person. He tends to let you handle things how you want without much input, feedback, or encouragement. He won't try to control or limit you, but he also won't offer much emotional support.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
No, he is not likely to support your career at first and then suddenly ask you to quit after having a child. He tends to keep to himself and doesn't usually make demands or set rules about your choices. Instead, he'll let you do as you please without much involvement or opinion.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He is more likely to act polite on the surface rather than show real warmth to your parents. He doesn't go out of his way to build close relationships or make others feel truly welcome and loved. His approach is usually quiet and reserved, not rude, just distant. He won't push your family to change for him, but at the same time, he won't make much effort to adjust either.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he will usually handle it calmly by staying quiet or keeping his distance. He won't raise his voice, argue, or add drama to the situation. You won't have to worry about him making things worse with harsh words or big reactions.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
No, he's not likely to expect you to suddenly act like a traditional, supportive wife in front of his relatives. He doesn't put much focus on how things look to others or push for strong traditions just to please his family. You won't feel pressured by him to change your ways or put on an act to impress relatives.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he will most likely stay out of it rather than support you or take anyone's side. He doesn't look for fights or want to get involved in other people's disagreements, even if it's about you. He won't add to your problems, but you may wish he was more present and supportive when things get tough.
Say you have a conflict with his mother. What will this guy do?
He is not a typical mummy's boy who always listens to his mother or lets her control everything. However, he also isn't someone who will openly choose your side or stand up for you in a conflict with his mother. Instead, he prefers to stay out of trouble, keeping quiet and letting issues settle by themselves.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
No, he is not the type to share every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. He keeps his personal matters to himself and prefers privacy over gossip. This means you can trust him to keep your relationship matters inside your home.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
So that's the story. This guy scores a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short of the standard we would want. Day in and day out, being in a relationship with him can feel calm and without much drama, but also lonely and routine. He quietly does his own thing, doesn't argue, and rarely raises his voice. So your days are peaceful, but often lack laughter, closeness, or emotional warmth.